Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how I make a gluten-free cookie flour blend. Gluten-free cookies present some challenges to gluten-free bakers. They are high in fat and high in sugar, and they cook in a short amount of time. So lots of gluten-free flours don't work. You might have seen a greasy mess of cookie dough when you've tried to make some cookies. So this cookie flour blend has 4 flours in it. I've got brown rice flour, almond flour, potato starch, and tapioca starch, and I've also got some xanthan gum in it. So I'm going to mix it up, and this is my container. And I have right on the lid, I like to tape the recipe. So I will put the recipe below in the show notes, but I'll also put a link to my website. So on the post of this is the actual recipe written as a single recipe, a double recipe, and a quadruple recipe. So that's what I have taped to the top. And I've got the measurements in both cups and grams. So today I'm measuring it in grams. I'm going to measure it into here. So digital scale is a must for gluten-free bakers. And like I said, it's more precise. So I've just zeroed it. I've just got an inexpensive dollar store bowl on there. I'm going to measure each one separately. So my first one, brown rice flour, I'm doing 355 grams. And brown rice flour, I've had a lot of success with brown rice flour as an ingredient in cookies. So when I look for a new recipe, or if I'm comparing recipes, I want to make sure that I pick up a recipe that has some brown rice flour in it. Or of course, if I'm experimenting, I would be using this flour blend here that I'm making. So 355. The good thing is if you put too much, you can just take it out. And there we go. Okay, then I'm just going to put that into my bowl. And the next one, if I'm fast enough, it still says 0, is almond flour. So just a quick comment on almond flour. This comes in a 100-gram container, which is 100, the amount I need in the recipe, so I don't need to weigh it. Almond flour is the same as ground almonds. You can buy that in the baking section at the grocery store. And there are differences in the texture between different brands, but that's a little too, I couldn't actually tell that myself. But you don't want almond meal, which has the skin still on the almond, so you could see the dark flecks in it. So you wouldn't want that in your cookies. Plus, it does affect the outcome of your baking. Okay, the third ingredient is potato starch. Whenever I use potato starch, I use a strainer. So it's a little bit clumpy of all the flours and starches that I use. So I want 120 grams. My scale is still good. I want 120 grams of the potato starch. So I measure it into the bowl like I did with the other ones. See, it even sticks to the spoon as I'm trying to do it. 120. There. Okay, and then I can put it into my strainer. I can do all of it. Sometimes if it's a larger amount, I might do half, run it through the strainer with the back of the spoon, and then do the other half. But there, that's 120 grams. And that's it. That's the only one I use my strainer for. And the last one is tapioca starch. I need 60 grams of that. So you'll notice if you're doing cup measurements, when you double and triple and quadruple recipes or half them and quarter them, the measurements seem kind of weird. So it says 6 tablespoons plus 2 teaspoons, but I'm measuring the grams, so I'm going for 60 grams. And that is, there, that's 60 grams. Okay, I'll put that one in there. So that's my 4 flours. Okay, so next is the xanthan gum. So whenever I measure xanthan gum, I've got 1 teaspoon in this recipe. I always like to sprinkle it on like this. It's such a fine powder. It's typically a very small amount that I'm using. And it is really important in the structure of gluten-free baking. It does also help with freshness. Gluten-free flours don't stay, the baked goods don't stay fresh as long as things baked with wheat flour. So freshness it helps with that. Okay, so that's it. Now I'm going to mix it up. A spoon I think is not adequate, or shaking it. I always like to use a whisk. And you can see, if you could see the colors, there's one's a bit golden and one's more white. The potato starch is a brilliant white. So I did use that through the strainer. So I want to mix it up now. I wouldn't put that away and mix it tomorrow. And you can see the colors on the side. And until it's all even, you want to just keep mixing it. So sometimes I'll make a batch of this and then, make some cookies or experiment with some cookies. And then I might put it in the freezer. It's got almond flour in it and brown rice flour as well. If you were not going to use it for several weeks, you might just keep it in the freezer. So that's my cookie flour blend. So I hope you'll give that a try. I'm going to link some recipes below. I use this cookie flour to make my gingerbread cookies, cappuccino diamonds, iced pumpkin spice cookies, jam thumbprints, and cinnamon snickerdoodles. And I love cookies, so I think those are all fantastic. Thanks for watching. I'm Cindy, the Everyday Gluten Free Gourmet, sharing tips and recipes from my kitchen for more everyday cooking in yours. See you next time.